G'day folks, this is part 3 of the 3Racing Sakura Ultimate build series. Part 3, we will be starting on the main chassis, and this will be the start, basically the start of the suspension system. Now, as I mentioned in part 2, there's a page included in the instruction manual. It's a revisement or a revision of the the start of bag 2, which we'll be starting on. It says the revised part is to take the long dry belt out of bag 4 because the suspension bulkheads are solid, and so it would mean that you would have to unscrew these from the chassis to install the belt. So, but before I go on, one thing I've done off camera is, being that this chassis is made from woven carbon fibre, what I've done is I've gone all around the edges and on the inside and all through there. I've gone around the edges with thin CA glue. Now, the brand I'm using is Zap. That's what I'm using. Yeah, it's the thin CA. The reason is graphite or carbon graphite is when it's woven, but it's also woven in layers, and then it's compressed and cured and whatnot. Now the problem is when it's in the milling machine, it obviously, it cuts it out. Not the milling machine, the CNC machine rather. The machine goes around and cuts it out. Now the thing with graphite and carbon fibre is that it's porous. On the top part here, I mean, you can feel it, it's smooth, but on the sides it's porous. Now the reason why I put CA glue around the edges is to seal it. Now this isn't a mandatory thing to do, but this is what I do because being porous, in my years of racing nitro touring cars and truggies and buggies and whatnot, what can happen is oil and other moisture can seep into the carbon fibre and cause it to delaminate. And not sure what it would cost to replace the main chassis for this kit, but I know for my NT1 it would be very, very expensive. So so the whole idea of sealing it with CA glue was to prevent moisture coming in and causing it to delaminate. Now others say, well, you don't need to do that. Sure, you don't need to do it, but it is a preventative thing to do. Okay, so that's enough babble on about that. So now what we'll do is we'll get on with the actual construction. So what we'll need is screws that are necessary for this part, and we'll get them all out. And we'll also need to get there's like these little spaces here. Probably can't see it too well. Little spaces, they go onto the chassis there for ride height, I believe, or it could just be a tuning thing. They're very thin, you may not need to put them in, but I'm building this kit to kit setup specification, so we'll put them in. Alright, so what we'll do is you just take note of the orientation of the chassis. So this will be the front. Okay, so what we'll do is, when you get these two, these are the parts for the suspension. You'll see that they're clearly marked, which is left and right. Same with the other ones. Okay, so we'll just give me a quick second while I just have a look at this. Alright, so these apparently just... Oh, I see what these are for. Okay, so we have to CA them in. These are for your down stops. So a little bit of CA. Don't need a lot. Same again. This one does not want to go in. There we go. Like I said, you don't need a lot of CA. Alright, so what we'll do, get a rag and wipe away any excess CA. Alright, so when you've done it, you can see they're just in there like that, just CA glue, pretty easy. Alright, now next part is we'll put in the rear section. What I haven't got, give me one quick second. Thread lock. I forgot the thread lock. Alright. So now what we'll do with the CA, not CA, thread lock, give it a shake, and see, that'll be a 2mm driver. Alright, so like I said to you, pay attention to the orientation of these. Give me a quick second. Alright, so a little bit of CA, thread lock. Gonna have fun with this, aren't I? Alright, just screw it down. Bit of CA again. Alright. Alright. Remember, with metal, you can do it fairly tight, but don't go overboard. Make sure you had the right ones on there. Again, little thread lock. And screws. So if you can't see it on camera, folks, put the driver in. Alright. I have to admit, the finish quality of this is actually quite good. I mean, it's no X-Ray or Yokomo, but I mean, for what it is, it's actually pretty good. Alright, so now next part will be it's the same procedure again, but this time under the revision of the instructions we need the belt. So we'll just pay attention to which one. If Alright, so this is the one we need. Alright, and note which way it goes. Remember, little thread lock. Alright, okay. Give me a quick second while I just look at this. Alright. Now this also you'll need to be careful of, because if you have to change the belt, you don't want to use a lot of thread lock, because to change the belt you would need to remove this piece I'm installing here, and if it's really tight because of the thread lock, I also recommend you use like a hobby grade thread lock. Yeah, if you use if it's really strong, you end up stripping not only your screws, but you'll also end up wrecking your tools as well. So you just be mindful. Okay, just check the screws. Alright. Okay, so that's how it's supposed to go there. So we have the belt through like so, like that. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll move on to the suspension arms. Now with the suspension arms, I've already gone ahead and done it. They come on like little spurs. You break them off and there's like a little bit of flashing. What I'd done is I got my hobby knife and I just gone ahead and got the spurs off, just so to make sure that there's nothing binding when the arms are moving. Now the arms are marked left and right, so make sure they're all the same. Alright, so when you're doing this next part here, make sure you take note of the orientation of the suspension arms. Okay, so I'll flip this over. Now the next part is to put a grub screw in, and it is on the outermost hole. And you want to put it in enough for a pillow ball to go on, but we'll do that in a second. Again, outermost hole. This is for the kit setup. Okay, so now next part, little thread lock because it's metal on metal. As always, not a lot. Okay, this will be a 2.5mm, or maybe it could be a 3. No, 2.5. Alright, you don't have to go nuts when you're tightening it, but you want it tight so it doesn't come off. Trust me, it's happened. Okay, same thing again. So that's what they end up looking like. And we need, these are your downstop screws. There should be 4 of them. Okay. So what I'll do is I won't put them all the way in. Now I want the 2mm. I should know where all my tools are. Alright, goes in the hole. What I'll do is I'll just put them in, and I have a little setup station. What I'll do is once the car is built, I'll put it on the setup station, and then we'll go from there. So we'll just put it in for the time being. When you're looking at the instructions, it says to have it so the screw comes 1.5mm out the bottom of the arm. So it would be the exact same procedure for the rear. So it doesn't say anything about the rear arms, which I find quite fascinating. Well, it is the exact same procedure. I just had a quick look. It is the exact same procedure for the rear arms. So what we'll do is we'll leave it there, and I will continue on with part 4, which will be attaching the suspension arms to the chassis. And stay tuned, folks.